Hi, and welcome to the Virgin River Cafe Rewatch podcast. Good morning, Gigi.
Good morning, Tracy.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a good day. It's a
That's
little hot. It's starting to feel like summer here.
isn't that
The
funny? It's like not even summer basically anymore, and it's just now feeling like summer.
well, I think the thing here in California, this is when we really get our summers is
I
in
know.
August.
August and
The rest of
September
the
is pretty bad.
right, the rest of the country's already had theirs, and now they're starting to have cool weather,
Yeah, because
which I think is
up
so fun.
by is it up by you? We get June gloom. Do you have the June gloom too, where it's just basically overcast and cloudy and
Yeah, yeah,
it burns off around 12, 1 o'clock, and
yeah.
then
Exactly. Mhm.
but it's much cooler, and then you get into July, it starts to get a little bit warmer, but once we hit August,
Things start to get really exciting really fast.
yeah, yeah, it was
What can
101 at
I?
like by like 4 o'clock it hit 101. So
Ours wasn't so bad, but it was still pretty. It's still pretty dicey.
mm.
So
so
anyway,
what is your caffeinated beverage today?
well, as I said last time, I have my new on stove espresso machine or pot, and so I've been making my own cappuccinos. So that's what I had today. I had like a double shot cappuccino. So
Nice.
that's it.
I checked online at one of the local places because this time of year they start bringing in the pumpkin. And
Yes, your food.
there's one place I love their pumpkin lattes, their iced pumpkin lattes. And I wait every year for it. And that's the only thing I generally don't get anything else there. I wait for like this time of year and then I'll just drink pumpkin lattes until they don't have any more because it's seasonal. And then I'm like, see you next year because that's the way it is. And I I saw it online and I went and I got one and I was like, "Oh, when did you start them?" And she's like, "Today." I'm like, "No way. Are you kidding?" They hardly ever do it this early, but a couple of years ago, they decided they waited a really long time and they started it in like October and then Halloween they were done. They just had it for the month. And I'm like, November is like pumpkin season and you're not what? You're done? What? So I think they got so much backlash that now they started in August and they basically keep it until like January. I think that was like, I don't think they want any more bad press. So I'm enjoying a very yummy iced pumpkin latte today.
Yeah, I do pumpkin, as you know.
And
It's not.
I know you don't like it, but this place, it's like they took pumpkin pie and they put it in the cup.
And again, don't like pumpkin
I
pie.
know. I love cinnamon and stuff, so it's so yummy.
I
But
like I like cinnamon, but I don't
so
like
yummy.
pie.
So
So
I'm gonna
if
probably get at least once a week, maybe twice
so,
if I'm feeling spicy. Um, because it's expensive. And if
I
I'm
know.
gonna
Well,
get it, I'm gonna get a big one. They have a 32 ounce, and that's the one I go for.
you go, girl.
Yeah.
Man, with school starting, you're gonna need it.
Oh, I need it. Oh, I need it. But my 32-ounce coffee will get me through it.
Yes, it
So,
will.
all right. Well, let's get
We-
started.
We're on season 6, episode 6, Ghosts. Hmm.
Mm.
How apropos.
Yes, I think we're
Perfect.
getting some ghosts from the past. So, this description says after Mel and Jack run into a paperwork glitch, Jack visits Mandy. Mandy. And admits a
Remember,
past mistake. Now, Mandy, if we remember that name, that is Jack's
yes.
ex wife
Mm-hmm.
that Mel found out about because Bree spilled the beans. And
Right. Because she had braided her hair in a particular fashion,
yes,
and it made her remember
yes.
Mandy.
And Bree was like, "Yeah, Jack's ex-wife." Like it was so nonchalant, and the look on Mel's face was like, well, he was married before. Like this is a guy who doesn't even hardly date. He just hooks up, with Charmaine and whatever. So now we get to find out more about Mandy. And the rest of the description says Kaia knows Brady's secret. Uh oh. nemesis makes threats. So there's a lot happening in this episode.
Yep.
All right. So we start out with beautiful scenery, the river and the mountains and the trees. Oh, it's beautiful.
It is.
Great song. And Mel is jogging because that's her thing. That's how she clears her head. That's how she helps herself work out things because she does a lot of thinking when she's running. She now can run in this beautiful wilderness. At the same time that Mel's running, Jack is climbing. Remember, Denny took him out I don't know, he may have climbed before, but it seemed like he was somewhat inexperienced. But Denny took him
Mhm.
out, and so he kind of got the taste for climbing. And because his therapist said in that episode, Calculated Risk, where you need to do something that kind of gives you a thrill, but you do it in a safe way. And that sort of helps him deal with his drinking and his anxiety and all this, the PTSD and all of that stuff. And so it looks like that he listens to Barry, his therapist, and
That's what
is
you're paying for.
that's why they're there. And he's doing some rock climbing to help him, and it looks like he's much better now. Like he's more experienced and seems more confident as Mel's running. It looks like she is running really close to where Jack is climbing. So it's nice that the two of them, it's like they spend tons of time together and they spend tons of time with other people in the town, but it's nice to see this is like a really healthy relationship. They also do things for themselves by themselves. So
Yep.
I think that's a really good thing. It's very well
It,
rounded for them.
for them, it has to be a mental thing. You know
Yeah,
what I
this
mean?
is what they do for self care.
Right. Exactly.
And Jack is just climbing his little self up there. And what an accomplishment. He gets to the very top and he's like leaning back on the very, very top, taking in the scenery when he makes it to the top so that you can kind of like appreciate making it. And with a deep breath and a big smile, just as Mel is running by underneath him. And she looks up and she's like, I will never get tired of watching you do that. And he's like, oh, hey. And they both kind of laugh. And then he does this like scaling down the mountain, where they jump off every few feet to get down to the bottom. And she's like, I missed you this morning. I figured you'd be out here. So he starts his way down and he's like, woke up early, say goodbye to Ricky, and needed to blow off a little steam, which is exactly what this is for. This is how he kind of just like gets himself started for the day. So he gets all the way almost down to the very bottom. And she's like, well, looks like it worked. And just as he gets all the way down, he's not even down yet. And he's like basically standing on the mountain. And he leans back, and Mel happens to be standing there. So he's like level with her. And so she leans over and gives him a kiss. He goes, oh, it did. And she's like, oh, hello. And he leans down and they give each other a kiss. He's like, how about you? And she's like, well, is any word from Everett? She goes, well, I'm going to give him some space. So as they're holding each other, he's like, okay. And she goes, besides, she goes, we have plenty of other things to focus on as she's working on taking his helmet off. Because, when he rock climbs, got to be safe, got to wear a helmet. So she takes his helmet off and he's like, we do? And she's like, uh-huh. And she goes, like getting our marriage license? And she's like, uh-huh. And so they're all kissy kissy. And she's like, and we have that meeting at the bar this morning. And he goes, oh, excuse me. I think you mean the State of the Union meeting because Hope is turning this wedding into, yeah, the State of the Union for sure. So
The
more,
wedding of the year,
oh
the
my
wedding
gosh.
century.
And he's like, oh, right, sorry. It's not a wedding, it's the State of the Union. And they're just laughing about it. And she's like, and we don't want to be late for that, no. And it's like more kissy kissy. And she's like, we still have to both take showers. And he's like, yeah, I know. And he goes, well, he's like, I think I have a way we could save time. And she looks at him and she goes, He goes, and water. And he kind of gives this like dimple eager. And she goes, oh, I see where you're going with that. Mm-hmm. More kissy kissy. And then sexy. Boy, when Ben Hollingsworth said this season was steamy, he was not kidding. So we get a Mel and Jack shower scene, which is pretty unusual for this show. But
But
great
we've
song.
got we've gotten them in the tub, but not in the
Yeah,
shower.
but this one is more, that was more playful, and then they got interrupted by a fire. And then the second time it was more like they're just talking and having a deep conversation but just being very comfortable with each other. This one, I think I would classify this one as more sensual if I had to give it a word.
Yeah, that is, I think, a good word.
Yeah, and the song is really good. It's called Liquid Love. It's a really good song for this. It's just a lot of kissing, and it's funny because even though this is a beautifully done scene,
Actors hate doing shower scenes.
yeah, because
Be-
they
because,
look great. I mean the videography, whatever they did to
yeah.
film this scene is very
Mm-hmm.
well done. But
Mm-hmm.
then they have to do it, and they're very uncomfortable because it's wet and it's messy. And funny that you mentioned that actors hate doing it. In the podcast, when Zibby Allen and Alex Breckenridge on their podcast, they talked about this, and she said there's one scene, and she said it's with water, and she said, "Oh my gosh," she goes, "I just felt like I was drowning." She goes, "It's just a face full of water." She goes, "It looks sexy." She goes, "Not so much. It's just not as much fun as it
Yeah.
looks. It's difficult to film, and you're in there for a long time,
Yeah.
and it's just not the most comfortable. It looks great. They did a
Yeah.
beautiful job as like the
Yeah. The
cinematography of it all, but oh,
choreography of all, and the only consolation is at least the water's warm. But
right.
other than that, that's it.
Yeah.
Every soap opera actor I
Oh
have
yeah.
seen in COVID
All of
who
them will
has,
tell you.
as much as it looks great, they hate doing it
Yeah.
because it takes a long time to
Yes.
get it. Just they have to do it several times to get different angles to
Right.
make it look as good as we see it.
Right. Because they'll
But
take pieces and parts from each time it's filmed to create
exactly.
something that's maybe 15 seconds. It
Uh-huh.
could They could be in water for 2 hours for
Exactly.
something like, that 15 seconds that everyone who watches the show appreciates this beautiful scene with Mel and Jack. And finally we're getting romance back in the show, and everybody's excited about it, and it's beautiful, and it's filmed really well. The music choice was really good. You really can see the love between the characters and all of that. But that they were probably like, "Oh my God, can we be done? Like I feel like a drowned rat, and I'm all pruny from being
Yep.
in the water for so long, and this
Yep.
isn't sexy because I keep swallowing a ton of water." And
Hmm.
so yeah, as much fun as it is, it's not really as much fun for them. But
Yep.
as fans of the show, we appreciate it and we thank
We
them for
great
it.
we greatly appreciate
Yes, it was beautifully done. So good job. They're finishing up their shower, and even like they have one where you can see them from inside the cabin. They left their bathroom door open, and they have like an opaque
it.
shower curtain, and
Yeah,
you can see them like in the shower,
yeah, it pans out
just their
to just
silhouettes.
yeah.
Yeah.
That,
So I mean,
mhm.
all of it beautifully done, and we thank you for your hard work. So we have more scenery because that's sort of like the opening part. We have a beautiful waterfall. So now we are at Jack's bar, and Hope is in charge of the wedding. And so this is like a meeting. Like this is like an executive meeting of the wedding. And she's like, first order of business, dress update. And she defers to the ladies. Now we've got Lizzie sitting between Mel and Jack, who are sitting in those big, comfy leather chairs, sort of like the head of the the organization. And Hope is presenting her findings for the week. So Joellen says the underlayer has been tea stained to reach the desired blush. And Mel has a big smile on her face. She's like so worried. She's like, and lace is in progress. So then Hope moves on. She's like, next we have Connie. Update on the wedding cake. She defers to Connie. Connie looks at her clipboard and she's like, I'm planning to add gold leaf and rose petals. And four more tiers to the top. And Mel kind of like, what? Four more? What? The cake is already six. And she's like,
Oh,
and Hope's like, well, you did want everyone to have a slice, and rose petals will coordinate so nicely with the flowers. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
It feels like a sultan's wedding. You know what I
Right?
mean?
I know. And then Liddy's like, not to mention the ice sculptures. And Jack's like, ice sculptures? And she's like, yes, hand carved by a local chainsaw artisan. It's all part of the experience. Now, if you remember back at the lumberjack games, in the very beginning of that episode, there was a guy who was using a chainsaw and he was carving wood stumps into like bears and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's
Mhm.
probably the guy. It's the same guy probably that they have doing that. It's like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God, this is turning into quite a circus.
And Mel is like, does the experience include Sugar walking down the aisle? Because Sugar the horse is still in the barn. And so she looks at Hope and she's like, because, he's still living in the barn. And Hope is like, I've called every rancher in the area, and no one is taking in any more horses right now. And Joellen says, technically, Hope, you haven't called everyone, because she clearly knows something that the rest don't know. And Hope turns around and gives her such a death stare. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you just need to stop talking. Like, it's that look. Like, if looks could kill, Joellen would be a puff of dust right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or the earth will gobble her up, swallow her up.
And Hope is like, hell will freeze over before I call that man. And she means it. She gives her a look.
Oh,
And Mel is like, who's that man? And of course, Joellen's not going to back down. Jack says to Mel, Roland, her ex-husband. And he kind of looks at her like, yeah, we don't really want to talk about that. He kind of gives her that kind of look like, yeah, we don't talk about him. And Hope is like, the devil incarnate. And Lizzie pipes up and she's like, am I including this in the minutes? And Hope is like, no, because this isn't happening. So Joellen, who also is very familiar with Roland, says Roland has the largest ranch in the area, which probably means he has extra room. So Muriel's like, Hope, if you do not call your ex-husband, I'm going to need to find a seat for Sugar at the reception. And we are already jam-packed as it is. With the sweetest smile. And then Mel clears her throat and she's like, option one, and somebody's like, let's go with that. Just call Roland. And Hope's like, fine, I'll do that. I'll call him. Like, sort of in defeat, because
yeah.
she does not want to call this man.
No, she does not.
And she looks at the two of them and she goes, just so you two can have the perfect wedding. So she's going to call him anyway.
She's acting like she's doing them a favor.
I know.
You, she promised them she would get the horse out of
I
there.
know, but we don't know the history with her and Roland. We don't know how bad it is. Remember, she said that she's been married. She's had 3 relationships. One
Yeah.
was the bane of her existence, which has to
Which
be Roland. One was the love of her life, and
and the third one, I can't remember what was it that.
was the shortest 3 months. Was
And I
it?
think that's the husband that died.
Yeah, there was one that died 3 months. She goes, was the shortest 3 months of her life, or something like that. So
Yeah,
she
I
had
think.
one that she loved, but he died. One that she hated and obviously divorced. And then we've got Doc, which is the love of her life.
Yeah.
So Mel is like, thank you, Hope. Much appreciated. And she's like, don't thank me yet. Let's see what Lucifer has to say first. Boy, this guy must have really done her wrong.
And it's hard to do Pope wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For her to hold a grudge that long, you must be.
It must be pretty bad.
A piece of you know what. Mm-hmm.
So they're moving on. They're like, okay, Flower Girl is Joey's daughter, Morgan. And ring bearers are her sons, James and Theo. She's like, and pony, of course, because some animals are allowed. With a little snide look. She goes, and Everett is walking Mel down the aisle. And Mel kind of stops and she's like, yeah, that's actually a question mark at the moment. And Hope's like, oh, should we keep Vernon on standby? And she goes, I'm going to get back to you on that. And I know that when Doc told Hope that Mel had changed her mind and it was asking Everett, I know that she was upset about it too.
Yeah,
And then she's like, well, at least that they're not asking you to do a reading. And he's like, yeah, actually, they're going to ask
they
me to
are.
do it. Yeah. And it's like, she felt kind of insulted about that. And she's taking that
Remember,
hard, which is completely
I I
understandable.
I I totally felt the same way. I
Yeah,
I
me too.
think she gypped him, and
Yeah.
that's just I'm not feeling the love there. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That
she's not either. Hope is not either. And she's in her body language and her tone. I think Mel gets it. So she's like, I'm going to get back to you on that. And then we see who walking in the door.
still not my favorite person. Sorry.
Yeah, I know, but it.
I understand she's grown on a lot of people. The character still bothers me.
No, I get it.
It's
Me too. She's
I'm
come a
I'm,
long
I'm
way. She has come a long
yes,
way.
she has come a long way. It's like Brady's girlfriend.
Yeah,
I'm never going to be comfortable with either of these women in the show.
and I'm
I,
okay with
yeah,
that. I'm
and
I don't I'm not either. So
I can't like everybody.
I
You
can
know what I mean?
appreciate that Charmaine has evolved,
Exactly.
but she's not gonna ever.
No, she's never going to be one of my favorite characters, but I understand why her character needs to be there,
Yeah,
and I greatly appreciate that.
yeah.
But the character itself bugs the crap out of me.
I hear ya. So
So
in comes Charmaine, and she's got the twins in a stroller, and girlfriend looks stressed.
yeah, she looks haggard.
She looks like it's been a rough month. And she's like, "Oh," they're like, "You doing okay?" She's like, "Yeah, it's been a rough morning. I'm sorry." She just looks tired, worn out. And Jack is like, "I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm gonna leave you guys to it." And the ladies see the babies and like, "Oh, they've grown so big because they're about 4 months old now." And she's like, "Yeah, because all those little vampires do is eat." and
It's what babies do.
And so she's like, okay, everybody, back to business. Charmaine, she goes, since she's there, and they ask, we are ready to see the bridesmaids' hairstyles that you've selected. Hope is asking her this information because that's why she's there. And she goes, well, I'm not there yet, Hope. The wedding's in like 2 weeks? And Hope is like gasping, and everybody
Oh,
looks at her, like everyone stops dead in their tracks and looks at Charmaine. Now, by this time, the sewing circle ladies have the babies out of the stroller, out of the car seats. They're snuggling those little babies. And everyone looks at Charmaine and she's like, what? And she's like, Lizzie's like, you mean 4 days? Like, it's not 2 weeks, it's 4 days. And she's like, 4 days? And Hope is like, tell me you're going to be functional enough by then to operate a flat iron on that day. I mean, the look on Charmaine's face is like exasperated. Like she just doesn't even know how she's going to handle it. And Mel walks up to her. She's like, Charmaine, you look exhausted. And she just shakes her head. Yes. She goes, Jack and I would be happy to babysit for you. And she's like, you would? And she's like, yeah. Like she didn't even look at Jack. She didn't even ask Jack. And Jack's standing there like a deer in headlights. And the look on his face is like, we will? Huh? And he's like, I mean, we would. Yeah, we would. Like he doesn't want to, but Mel says they are, so apparently they are. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, when? She goes, well, I mean, how about tomorrow night? And Mel's like, yeah. And Jack's like, yeah, great, sure, with like this fake smile just plastered all over his face. Oh my gosh.
no, he's gonna have to get used to doing things his wife
Oh yeah.
says he's
I mean, he
supposed to do.
already basically does anything she wants anyway, but when it involves his ex-girlfriend and her babies, that's a big ask.
I
But
agree.
but Mel, who is a midwife and a nurse, can see the exhaustion and the stress on Charmaine, and as a kind person with a good heart, just wants to help and knows that she needs this badly. So, yeah, she's going to do what needs to be done. And so Mel's like, all right, well, I hate to run, but our next appointment is in Eureka. So they've got to get going or they're not going to make it. She goes, and everything looks great. They're just going to make sure that everything works out. They're going to continue planning. Charmaine is like, okay, well, I need a model for the hair and makeup test. And everybody starts to like leave, like you've turned the lights on and the roaches have scattered. Yeah, everyone goes to leave, and unfortunately for Muriel, she's the last one to move as she grabs her stuff. And Charmaine is like, Muriel. So she's stuck.
Oh,
And she
yes.
puts a big smile on her face, like, okie dokie. Great. She got suckered into it.
I love the fact they dropped those babies.
Yeah, they
And
put those babies down and got out of there about as fast as they could.
I never knew old ladies could move that fast.
Oh, they can when they want to.
Anyway.
So we're at the park. The bakery truck is set up at the park, so there's benches and trees. It's right by the lake. There's a lot of people like, having picnics and walking around, kind of enjoying the
always
day.
the best, always the best locations for
Yeah.
this
Oh,
bakery
yeah.
truck. I have never seen them have a bad location.
No, they know where to go. Brady is at the truck and he was like, could you get me a couple of carrot zucchini muffins to go, please? And he's just hanging out there with Kaia. They're getting their morning coffee also. And Kaia's like, what is a carrot zucchini muffin anyway? How is that even a flavor?
I agree with her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just from like the cooking that Preacher's done for her and her reaction to it, clearly she does not have a refined palate. Let's just
No,
say that.
no.
I mean,
I don't think a lot of people in that town have a refined palate.
No.
If you get my
No.
okay. I think there are basically meat and potato kind of
Yeah.
people. And the fact that when Preacher does like salads and whatever, that's that a lot of people don't really dig that, as such.
Yeah, but
But they're getting better at it.
But the thing is, it just has to taste good. Who cares what's in it as long as it tastes good? And he's just going to keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah, that's true.
So the bakery truck with their carrot zucchini muffins. I mean, the fact that Brady knows what a carrot zucchini muffin is kind of impressive. Like, I wouldn't have expected him, of all people, to like know what that is. But I don't know. Maybe he's been hanging around Preacher too long and he's got a little bit of a refined palate. I don't know. She's like, what is that? He goes, I don't know. I think it's pretty good. He goes, but firefighters will eat anything. So there you go. That's why. They don't care what's in it. It just has to taste good. So just as Brady's walking away after ordering, he's got his coffee, he turns around to leave, and look who walks up. Oh, it's his pool table buddy. This is the first time they've seen each other since the pool table. And the look on her face, because she's looking at her phone as she's walking up, and just as she looks up to like make sure she sees where she's going, she's faced with Brady.
Talk about awkward.
Right? She smiles sort of, and he smiles sort of. Kaia's looking at the two of them, and Brady's like, hi. And Brady clears his throat. He's a little uncomfortable. He's like, how you doing? She's like, good, yeah, busy. Just, yeah, really busy. And he's like, yeah, good, good. And Kaia's looking at Bree and looking at Brady and looking at Bree. And he's like, yeah, me too. Been busy too. Yeah, And Kaia says, how are you? So great. He goes, just getting some muffins for the guys. And Bree's like, nice. And Clara has the order ready. And Kaia's going to go get it. I mean, I think Bree and Brady want to like get out of here as fast as possible because so Clara, who is in the bakery truck, is like, I got your order, Kaia. So she goes over to grab it, and the two of them, Brady and Bree, are now standing alone together again. And it's very uncomfortable. And they're kind of like have weird looks on their faces, like, okay, we're not going to say anything. We're going to be cool. We're going to be normal. We're going to act normal. And just because they're so uncomfortable.
As people like to say, awkward.
Awkward. And Kaia's like, okay, we got to go. And Brady's like, yeah. And then Kaia says to Bree, because remember, Kaia and Bree and Mel and Joey all went on that girls' night with Mel's bachelorette, having a good time. So now they're like friends. So Kaia says to Bree, yeah, but let's hang out soon. And Bree's like, yes, sounds good. So they linger for just another few seconds. And Kaia yells back to Brady, he goes, let's go, cadet. And he's like, yeah, yeah, coming, coming. So awkward. Ugh. So bizarre. Bree looks so uncomfortable. So now we are back at the clinic, and it looks like Denny was doing research. Remember the family that had the husband with the Parkinson's?
Right,
And
right.
he's been doing research to find a way to help them. And in a way, he's sort of looking ahead, finding a way to help Lizzie when he gets to the point that he's going to need help. And so Denny's explaining is so some home health aides can help with meal prep, transportation, appointments, even housekeeping. You know, you just tell them whatever you need. When he had done his research, Doc and him had called this couple back to the clinic because he wanted to share this information that he's found to help them, because he knows that at this point, wife is so overstressed that she never gets to do anything, never gets to go anywhere because she's spending so much time taking care of the husband. You know, it's at the
Yeah, she's
point that
overwhelmed.
he needs so much right now. And this is the
Hmm.
time to bring some help in. And I know that they were concerned about that, but Denny found a way. And so they called them in, and Doc is just standing on the side looking so proud. Denny is doing this for this couple. And the couple are like, this sounds expensive. And Denny's like, well, yeah. He goes, I already sent you an application to the program. He says that specializes in helping Parkinson's patients. And he goes, and it should take care of whatever your insurance can't cover. And the woman is like, thank you both so much. And Doc's like, oh, no, no. This is all Denny. Like, he's given him all the credit for it. He goes, he did the research. He found this program. And the wife is like, thank you, Denny. And he's just proud. And the husband is like, you're going to make a great doctor someday. And the wife's like agreeing with him, like, yes. And he goes, thank you so much for all of this. And Doc's like, I'm going to be checking in on you two in the next couple of weeks. Make sure that things are going okay. And so off they go. And oh, how nice for them that they can get some help. And Denny is really going to be an empathetic doctor, which is all what anybody wants, right?
Exactly, because we know a few idiots as
Yeah,
doctors.
not all doctors are like that. And Doc's like, hey, he goes, you did a good thing for the O'Neills. And Denny's like, thanks. He's like, I can see how hard it is for them. He goes, and I know it's going to be even harder for me. I mean, Huntington's is like having Parkinson's and Alzheimer's combined. He's like, and there's barely any facilities that deal with it because it's rare. And, the care for it is so specific. And, he's kind of like spiraling out a little bit on this. And Doc is like, Denny, we'll figure this out. He goes, yeah, but it's been hard enough planning it for me. And if the little girl has it too, because now he's thinking genetics. Like,
Yep.
is his child going to be born with this? And Doc is like, all the more reason that Lizzie should be brought into this conversation because they can find out. There's ways. And Doc's like,
Yep.
and I'll be there with you. I'm happy to if you need me for anything. It's nice that they've got this support. Denny's like, part of preparing to be a parent is planning for my family's future. You're right. I can't do that without Lizzie. And Doc's like, exactly. So finally, all these things that he's thinking about, he really does need to bring Lizzie in on it.
Yes, he does.
Now in walks from the front door. Who do we get?
Of, of all people, who anno- another one who annoys
I
me.
know you don't like him. I kind of like him. It's Cameron.
All right, here's my deal with him.
Okay.
I like him a lot better than I like
Charmaine or
Charmaine.
Lark.
Yeah,
Well, of
or Laura.
course. Yeah, of
Okay,
course.
and I think part of it is because while he tried to get involved with Mel, he didn't break up the relationship or make it any worse or anything like that. So and then I love Marion.
Yes.
And good for the little
The short
part-time
stint that they had together.
right. And I appreciate that. So I think I don't dislike him as much as I disliked him before.
Yeah, in the beginning, we didn't like him because of the
Now,
things that he was doing, and he just was not self aware. It's like, dude, read the room. And he just
yeah,
couldn't. And he was too fixated on whatever.
right.
But he evolved and he figured
Thank
out
God.
what, that he had zero chance with Mel. And he moved on. And unfortunately, or fortunately, he moved on with Muriel. But then when his ex wife came to town,
His ex fiance, I
oh,
think she was.
yes, his ex fiancee came to town. That sort of put him on a different path. So, yeah, I don't know. It's very, yeah, it's been tough. But they broke up, but he's back, and here he is. And Doc peeks around the corner. He's like, Cameron, and he's like, Doc, hey. And he goes, what are you doing here? And he goes, well, I was coming up this weekend for the wedding, but then I got a strange call from Dr. Hayes, actually. Dr. Hayes. And he goes, do you know him? He goes, yeah. He goes, Dr. Hayes is trying to launch a baseless investigation against me. So this Dr. Hayes probably reached out to Cameron because Cameron worked with Doc at the clinic, and maybe trying to get references or whatever. And he's like, well, if he's calling me, then odds are he's digging into your entire past looking for any missteps. And Doc's like, seems kind of desperate. He goes, I can't believe he's dragging you into this. And he goes, well, obviously I have nothing but good things to say about my time here. Because Cameron, he's a good guy. He goes, and your patients love you. So I don't think you have anything to worry about, Doc. Doc's like, thank you. And in walks Muriel. Now, Cameron hadn't turned around yet, but he knows her voice. And she's like, I'm so sorry I'm late, but Hope and Charmaine actually held me hostage. She's got her hair all done, so she's all fancied up. And as she walks in, she walks right into Cameron. And it's like, she goes, they had me all tied up with a blow dryer. And he's like, hi, Muriel. And she's like, hello, Cameron. Ugh, that's uncomfortable. So now we're in Grace Valley
Again,
because,
another
yes, well, they have a lot of appointments. They're getting married in 4 days. You think they would have taken care of this particular tidbit ahead of time, but I guess not. So Mel and Jack are in line, and it's their turn. So they walk up to the counter, and Jack's like, hey, hi. And he's like, we'd like to apply for a marriage license. And the lady's like, ID and birth certificate, please. And Mel's got her information, and she hands it to the lady. She's like, thank you. She starts looking things over. And she's like, so your license says Monroe, but your birth certificate says Jensen. So she looks at Mel, and she's like, yes, I was married before. She goes, we both were, actually. And my first husband's name is Monroe, but he's deceased, and his death certificate is in there. And the lady's like, so are you changing your last name? And Mel's like, yeah, I'm changing my last name to Sheridan. The woman's like, okay. So Melinda Sheridan? She's like, yes. And Jack's like, wow. And she's like, what? And he's like, that's the first time I've ever heard that out loud. And she kind of like nudges him with her shoulder. She's like, the lady says, so, Mr. Sheridan, I don't see your dissolution papers in here anywhere. And she's like, unless your spouse is deceased too. And Jack kind of laughed, and he's like, no, she's still alive. It's, I think your website said that if the divorce was over 10 years, then I may not need to have those papers. And she goes, yeah, the operative word being may. Uh-oh. She goes, which means it's up to my discretion.
Oh, good Lord.
And Jack's like, with a look on his face, like, huh? And he's like, so. And she's like, so you'll be needing those dissolution papers today, And Mel and Jack look stunned. He goes, yeah, problem with that is I have to track down my ex-wife for the papers. So the lady's like, look, I get it. I wouldn't want to speak to any of my ex-husbands either.
And why is she doing that to them?
She goes, but these are the rules. Mel says, couldn't you make a tiny exception? We're getting married in 4 days. And the lady's like, ma'am, the last time I did that, a woman ended up married to 3 different men in 2 states. And she's like, you're not dragging me into polygamy hell again. Gosh, like totally not them. She goes, no dissolution papers, no marriage license. Next.
Well, I guess she learned her lesson once. She doesn't want to repeat that.
She sends him away. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she is not playing. So they're like, okay, and they gotta go. And he's like, okay, look, if Hope can talk to her ex-husband, you can reach out to your ex-wife. I mean, he's like, I think she still lives in Sacramento, but it's been 30 years. And it's not like we left on great terms. And he's like, well, we can drive up to Sacramento and stay with your mom. I mean, that's a nice idea that they'll drive up to Sacramento and they'll stay with his mom. And off they go.
Oh, this sounds like it's going to be quite an adventure.
And Mel's like, it'd be nice to see her anyway, which is good.
I guess.
I guess. All right. So we're back at the fire station, and Kai's like, okay, you rescue an unconscious patient from a burning vehicle. She's testing Brady. How many liters of oxygen per minute for a standard oxygen mask? And Brady's like, I'm sorry, what was the question? And she's like, Cadet, come on.
Yeah, Brady's not even listening to her. He's on another planet.
Yeah, he's got brie on the brain.
Exactly.
And I'm not talking about the cheese.
There goes your comic night.
There you go. So Kai is like, you gotta know this stuff cold, okay? He goes, bag, valve, mask, 15 liters per minute. He's like, got it. And he's like, sorry, just a little distracted. She's like, yeah. He goes, what's going on? Nothing, I'm good. He's trying to play it off, of course. He's like, just hit me again. I got it. And she's like, really? Because things seem kind of tense between you and Bree at the bakery truck. So, could it have anything to do with that? And he's like, nope. She's looking at him like, yeah, I don't believe you. She's like, oh, okay. Well, what? Did you guys hook up or something? And she's looking at him, and he won't look her in the eye.
He is. It's like a lieutenant, straight ahead.
And she's looking at him like, oh my God. She's like, what? And she's like, when? And he's like, hey. She shuts her mouth and she's looking at her. How? Like, when, where, why, how? Like,
details, buddy.
Yeah.
Details.
And he's like, it doesn't matter, okay? It was a mistake. And I'm pretty sure she thinks so too. She's like, but what about Lark? And he's like, don't worry about Lark. And Kaia's like, do you still have feelings for Bree? And he goes, my feelings don't matter, all right? He's like, I just wish I knew what she was thinking. I tried texting her. She's like, yeah, maybe she's trying to make sense of it. And he's like, right now, I just want to forget this whole thing ever happened. And so should you. And he walks away. Like, we're not studying anymore. His head's not in the game. So we're back at the clinic. And Cameron is with Muriel. And he's like, how is everything with you? And she's like, oh, it's good. The birthing center and the clinic keep me on my toes. And then there's Mel and Jack's wedding. You do know I am on the planning committee. And he's like, there's a planning committee? She goes, oh, yes, there is. In fact, I'm in charge of the seating chart. And the photo booth and the fondue station. She's like, look, I'm sorry that we haven't chatted a lot since I left. But, and then the phone rings. So she picks it up and she's like, I'm sorry. I really have to take this call. He's like, yeah, sure. So she's like, hello. And she goes outside on the front porch.
Yeah, because he's Mr. Nosy Body.
Right? He's always overhearing everybody's phone calls. So now we've got a beautiful view of this farm on a lake, and there's horses, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. But I have a feeling the devil incarnate lives there.
I don't know. Somebody's riding their horse toward this big house. Hope has shown up, peeking in the window.
Because we've never seen this property
before. No. And she sees someone riding up on a horse. And he goes, Hope McCrae? This man looks puzzled, I think is a good word.
And she's got this look like, oh, if she could bury his butt right now, she would.
She's like, I probably should have called first, but this way we only have to talk to each other once. You're a rancher who needs horses. I have a horse that needs a ranch. He's like, you remember Buck and Lily? And he's like, yeah. He goes, I haven't heard those names in years. How are they? And she's like, they're dead. Jeez. She's so blunt.
Remember, she doesn't want to talk to him any
I
longer than she
know. She's like, but the good news is their horse, Sugar, is alive. And she points to the trailer that she's brought with her because I think she assumed that this was going to work out, so she just came prepared. He's like, and he needs a home. So, what do you say? And he's like, only you, Hope, would show up on someone's doorstep with a horse, no notice, and just expect them to take him. You haven't changed one bit. You're still too much. She's like, and you're still judgmental narcissist. He goes, okay, let me try this again. I have to find Sugar a home before a wedding takes place on Buck and Lily's farm, and I'm running out of time. I've called every rancher in the area. You're my last option. I'm desperate. So, whatever it is, just name the price. And he's like, is he broken in? And she's like, sure is. Sugar's the best. He's like, all right then. I'll do it. On one condition, though. And then her smile fades really fast.
That I knew that was not going to go for well.
He says, you say you're sorry.
Oh,
She's like,
boy.
sorry? For what? He goes, you know exactly what. He's like, come on, that was 40 years ago. Over 40 years ago, I woke up one morning and you were gone. There was no note, no explanation. It was just some empty bed sheets. You stifled me. You were so controlling, I thought we were happy together. She's like, of course you did. So it sounds like that she was the stifling one. She says, as long as I was your little dutiful wife, you were happy. She's like, my voice never mattered. So I left without saying a word. He's like, you did. Well, there's two sides to every story. It doesn't sound like an apology to me. So good luck finding Sugar a home. And Hope comes back. Fine, because she's so desperate. She goes, I'm sorry for leaving you without even saying goodbye. She almost looks like she's going to cry. And he turns around and he's like, see? Now, was that so hard? He goes, I'm short on ranch hands at the moment, so give me a few days. And Hope, for what it's worth, I don't have any regrets about us. She's like, good, because I have plenty for both of us. Goodbye, Roland. See? I said it that time. What a handful.
Ooh.
So Muriel is still outside, but now she's looking rather sad.
Pretty grim.
Yeah, and Cameron comes out looking for her because she went to just grab a phone call, but she hadn't come back yet. And he's like, I should have called to let you know. I was coming a few days early. You know, I didn't mean to upset you. And she's like, no, it's not you. I'm fine. And he starts walking toward her. And he goes, I think I know you well enough to know that that's not true. He's like, what's going on? She takes a deep breath. She's like, I got the results from a biopsy. I have breast cancer. That was the call I had to take. And he's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, yeah, me too. He goes, you know, I know some exceptional oncologists in the Bay Area, and I can make some calls and get you seen right away. She's like, thanks. I'm still trying to process. She's like, and please just keep this between us. I know I have to tell everyone, but I don't know that I'm going to do that yet. He's like, of course I won't say anything. You have my word. It's like, of all people to find out. He's like, I'll give you some privacy. And he starts to walk away. And she's like, actually, Cameron, can you just sit with me for a minute? I could really use a friend. She's like, thank you, because he sits down right next to her. He's like, absolutely. Oh, well, she's going to have a fight on her hands.
Most definitely.
So it's nighttime, and we are at Jack's bar, and Preacher is behind the bar. Kaia walks in, and she's like, tequila, neat. I have had a day. He goes, oh, how about a kiss on the side? She's like, make it two. He's like, oh, two little kisses. He's like, so what happened? She's like, I've been sworn to secrecy. He goes, oh, sounds like someone got run through the Virgin River gossip mill. She just gives him an eye, hands her his drink. He goes, "Hey, Bree." He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" So Bree and Mike show up, and Kaia looks at Bree like, this is awkward. And Bree's like, "Hey, Preach, we're just going to grab a booth." And Bree's like, "Actually, do you want to sit at the bar? And do you guys mind if we join you?" And Kai's like, "No." So Mike wanted the booth, but,
It may be that if she goes to the booth, she'll see the table.
Yeah. They've already, yeah, I know, seriously. Oh, goodness. Oh, my. Yeah, because the pool table's further in the back. So Preacher's like, "So what brings you two in tonight?" He's like, "Oh, well, we are celebrating. Mike got a promotion to head of major crimes of the Humboldt County." Preacher's like, "Is that right? Wow. So it's Captain Valenzuela now, huh?" He goes, "That calls for a toast." So he's pouring some special drinks for everyone. Oh, and she's like, "Oh, only the best for you." So, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." Everybody's hooting and hollering and cheers and drinking it down. Everybody gets a shot. And in walks Brady.
You got to be kidding me.
Uh-huh. And just as he's walking in, Bree leans over and Mike leans over. They kiss each other. Oh, this is so crazy. And just as they're kissing, Kaia gets a look at Brady over their shoulders. He's like, "Thanks, babe." And so Preacher's like, "Hey, Brady, why don't you join us? We're celebrating." He's like, "Yeah? What's the occasion?" He goes, "Oh, Mike got promoted at the sheriff's department." And he's like, "Wow." And Kai's like, "That's great, isn't it, Brady?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's awesome. Congrats. Awesome." He goes, "Thanks, man."
Oh my God.
I know, right? And Mike's like, "Guys, it's really not a big deal, but my lady's making me celebrate." Oh, this is so awkward.
Okay, is this like this episode has lots of awkward moments? You notice?
So many. So many. Oh my gosh. It's just so. Doesn't want to stick around. He's like, "Well, I'm beat, so I'm going to turn in early, but you guys have one on me, all right?" Because remember, he lives upstairs. Mike's like, "You heard the man. Another round." He goes, "Yeah, don't mind if I do." So they're all going to have another drink. And Bree, after seeing Brady, yeah, she wants another drink too. Because she needs one after, both her men together in one room. All right. So guess where we are now?
Mamacita's house.
Yes, we are at Jack and Bree's mom's house in Sacramento. And it looks like Amelia has made a nice breakfast, coffee and juice and waffles. And Mel is just enjoying herself. She didn't even wait for Jack. Like, he's getting up and getting ready, and she did not even wait for him for breakfast.
To each his own when it came to the breakfast.
Yeah. And Mel's like, "Now I know where Jack gets his breakfast making skills from. Amelia, what is the secret in this?" And Jack's like, "Don't tell her. Don't." And she's like, "I double the butter in the recipe." And Jack's like, "No, Mom." Just ratting him out. Jack's like, "Thanks, okay?"
There goes his cookie. His waffle secret.
So Jack says, "Mandy said I can swing by around 10, so I'm going to head over there now. Good thing you kept her number." He's like, "I'm surprised it still works after all these years." And Amelia's like, "That's not her old number. I gave you her new cell," as she's plating another waffle. And he's like, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, we still talk every now and again. Like it's nothing." And even Mel is like, "Oh, that's interesting." Like the look that she's giving, it's like,
Okay, yeah.
And he's like, "You never told me that." And she looks at him. She goes, "Well, I didn't think it was a big deal." He goes, "Well, it's not." He goes, "But, I mean, surprising." He goes, "Well, she was my daughter-in-law." He goes, "Right, okay. I'm going to get going." So Jack's like, "Yeah, I'm not having this conversation. I think I'm going to go. Got to get out of there." And so Mel's like, "Okay." She goes, "Oh, hey, babe, don't forget, we have to be home by 3. We've got babysitting duty." And he's like, "Do you want to come with me?" And she's like, "To meet your ex-wife from like 30 years ago?" No. He goes, And I love this. She's like, I think watching your ex-girlfriend's twins is good enough for today. Like she such takes it in stride, and he's like, oh right, yep, that's you, yeah. Save me some waffles.
Mm.
She's like, yeah, can't promise that. He goes, good luck. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And the mom waves to Jack, and off he goes. So we're back at Jack's bar, and Brady looks like he's packing stuff in a box or putting things in a box, and Lark shows up. She's like, I got your message. And he's like, yeah, I'm glad you called. She goes, was that my sweatshirt along with the rest of your stuff that you need to take and go? So the box he's packing up is Lark's things.
Right, right.
Uh-oh.
Well, he's already got the information from Bree.
Yeah, but she doesn't know he knows. So this is where it's all going to come out.
Yeah.
She's like, what? Like, they've been dating for like 5 or 6 months, and all of a sudden he's packing her stuff and giving it back to her? And he's like, you need to go. And she's like, are you breaking up with me? He goes, oh, I thought you'd be thrilled to have more time to spend with Jimmy. And she's like, what are you talking about? As she's ready to cry. He goes, don't do that. Okay. He goes, I know. Goes right up to her. He goes, I know Jimmy is Hazel's father. And she's eyes are tearing. She goes, he is. But Jimmy told me the Emerald Lumber insurance money belonged to him. She goes, oh, yeah, I bet he did. She's like, he was going to give it to Hazel. She's like, he convinced me that the only way to get it back was to steal it from you. And he just shakes his head. He's like, great. He's like, so you've been conning me this entire time. She's like, that's how it started, but I already called it off, I swear. She's like fully crying by this point.
Yeah.
I mean, like, is he even going to listen to her? Really? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
ugh. I mean, that's pretty bad. This time she's been stringing him along. He goes, I didn't know you when I agreed to it. All I knew was Jimmy said you were the thief. And then I got to know you. And he's like, just stop. I said stop, okay? He goes, I don't believe a word coming out of your mouth. You've been lying to me for months. And she's shaking her head and crying. She's like, I know. I'm sorry. He goes, you're sorry? She goes, but Brady, my feelings for you are real. She goes, I love you. Deep down, I think you know it. And he's shaking his head no. He's like, nothing about this is real. Even he looks like he's going to cry. So he picks up the box and he hands it to her. She can't really say anything. She lied. I mean, she's in the wrong. So she takes her box and leaves.
He's got to figure it out now.
Oh, God. The more, it's just like everybody just keeps betraying him. It's so sad. So Jack.
He can't get a break.
Yeah, he cannot get a break. So Jack is arriving at a house, goes up to the front door, knocks on it. A woman opens it. And she's like, hello, Jack. And he's like, Mandy. She's like, come on in. He's like, thanks. Oh, this is so awkward.
I think they should have called this episode Awkward and Not Ghost.
All right, yeah. And so he turns around as he's walking through to the kitchen and sees a family portrait. And he's looking at it. She says, my oldest goes to Berkeley in the fall. He goes, wow, you must be so proud. Your alma mater. He goes, almost yours. He's like, yeah. Because remember, that's where he got a scholarship for, but he didn't go because he went into the Marines. And so she pulls out the papers and she's like, there you go. And he's like, thank you. Honestly, I'm not sure what I would have done. She goes, it's no problem. I'm happy to help. She goes, and this belongs to you too. And it's this small box. He's like, they sent it to me a while back after we were divorced. And I guess I was still your home address. He opens it up. And isn't it a Medal of Valor, I believe?
Yes.
That's what it looks like. She goes, oh, and there's a letter. I guess it goes with it. She's like, I should have reached out to you when they sent it to me, but yeah, things were awkward. She goes, I guess I was still angry with you for enlisting without telling me. He goes, Mandy, that was always part of my plan. You knew that. She's like, you said after college. He goes, things changed. The world changed. She's like, I know. Well, one day we were talking to Berkeley Dean of Students about dorms for married couples, and the next day you're telling me you're going. He goes, no, you're right. I'm sorry. You never signed up for that. She's like, I knew you, Jack. I knew how dedicated you were. He's misty. She's misty. Everybody's misty-eyed in this episode also. Oh, my gosh. She says, I was sure the only way you were coming home was in a body bag.
Oh, that's very grim.
Well, at that time, this was right after 9/11, so there was a lot going on. And
I know.
It was just what people kind of, the expectation. That was just the expectation. She's like, so I decided to leave first. And he's like, I get it. He's like, thank you for being honest with me. And she's like, but not only did you come home, apparently you made a difference. And she hands him another box. She goes, I guess we both ended up right where we're supposed to be. And he's like, we did. I think it's a plaque that comes with a letter because of his medal.
I guess so.
Mm-hmm. And then Mandy says, and word on the street is you're about to marry an incredible woman. He's like, oh, yes, I am. He goes, I wonder how you heard that. And she's like, it's really good to see you, Jack. And he's like, yeah, you too. So now we're back at Amelia's house, Jack's mom. And
Please tell me.
you know she's been waiting to do this. So Mel's sitting on the couch and Amelia's pulling out the photo albums. And she's like, oh, yes, here it is. And she puts this photo album of Jack and everything. And she's like, this was taken Jack's senior year. And Mel is like, oh, my gosh. Like, look at him. Look at his hair. She's like, oh,
He
yeah.
is still cute.
I know. She's like, he always wore it like that. She goes, it used to drive Sam crazy. Refused to cut it, at least before the Marines. It's like, oh, wow. And then she goes, oh, that must be Mandy. And it's a picture of their wedding. Amelia says, she reminds me of you in some ways. And Mel looks at her like, she goes, you're both intelligent, beautiful women who lead with their hearts.
That's
Mel's
nice.
like, thank you. And Amelia's like, you know, Jack and Mandy were only 18 when they got married. She goes, it was impulsive, immature, but very sweet. I was rooting for them. Their divorce was hard. And Mel's like, you know, you don't have to explain. She goes, no, I want to. She's like, when Jack joined the Marines, Sam was upset about it, but Mandy and I, we were just worried. I was worse than she was, so it fell to her to keep me sane. That's nice they had each other.
Yeah.
She goes, when I couldn't sleep, she would stay up with me for hours on the phone, talking until the sun came up. Even after she decided that she couldn't stay married to Jack, she would still call me, check in, and, you know, make sure I was okay. Now Mel's getting teary-eyed, like, how sweet is that? Like, she clearly was a bigger part of Amelia's life that Jack probably had no idea about. She's like, I will always love her for the role she played in my life. She's like, just because someone isn't family anymore doesn't mean they don't deserve a place in your heart.
Amen, sister.
And Mel is like, that's very poignant. Like, she's thinking about that because that means something to her. So now we're back at Hope's, and Lizzie is unpacking something that she got in the mail, something she got delivered. She's looking at it, and she's like, what the heck? Denny walks in, and she goes, thank God you're here. She goes, we need to decide which baby monitor we want. We have to return the one we're not using by tomorrow. She's like, this one tracks sleep patterns, has a motion sensor and a camera. He goes, actually, there's something I think we need to talk about. And she's like, sure, can you help me open this first? And so she gives him the device, and he's got to open it up so they can put batteries in it or whatever. And he's like, so I was doing some research for Doc at the clinic, and he's like, I realized that there's no resource nearby for people with Huntington's. He's like, and the closest long-term care facility that accepts HD patients is over 6 hours away, and that's if we can even afford it. So she goes, then we'll deal with it when the time comes. She goes, which is a long time from now. And he opens the thing up, he hands it back to her, and he's like, here. He's like, I just feel like I'd worry less if I knew what our plans are, especially for our baby girl. I mean, what if she's carrying it too? And Lizzie's like, then we'll figure it out when she's 18, like we said. He's like, yeah, I know, but I may not be able to have that conversation then. So I think we should get her tested now. And she's like, Denny, a prenatal test has to be done in the first trimester. He's like, no, I know. I meant after she's born. Or we could just, she's like, or we could just focus on the present. She's very much live in the moment kind of thing.
Yeah.
She doesn't like to think of the future at all.
No. No, this scares her.
If she wouldn't, but she wouldn't be with him if all she thought about was the future, knowing what their future is going to look like.
But it's still scary because it's the unknown.
Oh, sure.
Lizzie doesn't like the unknown.
Yeah.
No.
And she's like, we need to finish the nursery and pick out a name. Like, they have other things to do. He goes, I know, but our future's important too. She's like, I didn't say it wasn't. And he's like, well, then why don't you ever want to talk about it? He's like, every time I bring it up, you change the subject. And she's like, There's more pressing issues right now. And he's like, Lizzie, look, Huntington's is scary, but ignoring it is not going to make it go away. And she's like, I can't do this. She's like packing up stuff and putting things away. And he goes, what are you doing? She goes, I need to return one of the monitors. And he's like, which one? She's like, I don't know. And she just grabs them both. So this is freaking her out more than she was letting on.
Yep.
So now we're back at the cabin, and Jack has a baby, and Mel has a baby. And Mel is singing Itsy Bitsy Spider, which is really super cute. And her baby seems to be very quiet. Both babies seem to be comfortable right now. Jack starts singing Itsy Bitsy Spider, and they're both singing. Mel's baby's sound asleep.
Yep.
Jack's baby's still awake.
It means the set had to have 2 sets of twins for this rule.
At
If
least,
not,
or triplets.
Yeah.
So they have both babies, and Mel's able to put her baby down, but as soon as Jack starts to put his baby down, it starts to fuss. He goes, okay, nope, all right, another round, shall we?
Oh, yes.
And he goes, do you want me to try it? And he's like, no, I got it. She goes, okay, well, okay. And he's like, we'll do it again. He goes, you want a sleepier song? And then he makes up stuff. You're getting tired. Yes, you are. And she's just kind of laughing at him. He goes, oh, is that a big yawn? I saw a big yawn. And the baby keeps fussing. And Mel's just coming up really close, looking over Jack's shoulder at the baby. And she's like, it's bedtime. He goes, are you getting sleepy? And they're just talking to the baby. And she goes, hey, is it just me? Or was that clerk really mad that we made it back in time to get our license? And Jack kind of laughs. He goes, I think that was just her face. And she's like, just her face? It's like, so he's like rocking the baby. And then Mel sees the boxes that Jack brought back from Mandy's. And she opens the big box and she's like, Mandy, he goes, what's this? He goes, Mandy gave it to me. And he goes, they sent it to her parents' house a while back. And she opens up one of the boxes, and it's the Medal of Valor. And she smiles, and she's like, you got a medal? And he's like, uh-huh. And she's like, what for? He goes, I didn't read the letter. The baby's still fussing. So in the big box was actually like a folio, like a kind of like how you get your diploma in. And it's a letter that it's got an emblem on it and everything.
United States Marine emblem.
It says the Secretary of the Navy takes pleasure in presenting the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal with Combat V to Private First Class Sheridan. And she's like so proud, smiling. She goes, I really like the sound of that. And he's just looking at her. He goes, Private First Class Sheridan distinguished himself with valor. His composure under fire and decisive actions as a rifleman. Her smile's gone. Now she almost looks concerned. Were paramount in his platoon's success that day. Like, it's almost
that's
sad.
Where they lost.
Yeah.
They lost one.
Yeah. It's like she's looking very sad now because now it's like one thing to get a medal, but it's like, how did you get that medal? What did you have to do?
Who did you have to lose?
Continues to read, his heroism, initiative, and unwavering devotion to duty reflect the great credit upon him. She's like, wow, this is quite the honor. And his back is to her now. Like, he's not even looking. Like, it's like he can't hear this. So his back is to her while he's still rocking the baby. And Jack's like, yeah. And she's like, why didn't you read it?
That's a part of his life he does sort of remember anymore.
He's like, because it doesn't matter. He goes, I mean, what happened still happened. I mean, he's in tears kind of right now. They haven't fallen yet, but they're definitely sitting on his under eyelids. He's like, I mean, what happened still happened. Now they both look sad. So she puts the letter back in the box. And she's like, this makes it seem like what you did overseas did matter. And she comes over and she's basically holding him while he's holding the baby. She's like, and you should embrace that because you are an exceptional man. She's teary and he's teary. He's like, thanks. Here's an exceptional man that you're stuck with. And he leans over and gives her a kiss forever and ever as he continues to rock the baby, trying to get this kid to go to sleep. So now Doc is reviewing patient files as he's sitting having a nice stiff drink, just relaxing at home. And Hope arrives, and she's like, hi. He's like, good evening. She's like, I haven't seen that file in a long time. What's going on? And he's like, oh, Dr. Hayes is digging through my past, looking for anything and everything to use against me. And she sits down in the chair across from him, and she says, Jordan's death wasn't your fault. We both know that, because that's the file he was reviewing, the one about the boy that died, the one that him and Everett keep arguing about. And Doc's like, well, doesn't seem to matter what we know. And Hope's like, Vernon, you weren't even there. And he's like, yeah. He goes, exactly. I think that's the problem. She goes, well, you couldn't have known Jordan would take a turn. And Doc's really thinking. And he's like, when I was in Seattle, I saw a lot of tragedies that should have been treated before they got to the hospital. So when I came here, I was able to protect my patients because I knew them. I knew who they were. I knew what they needed. And then he kind of chuckles, and I knew little Jordan loved to play baseball. Hell, I taught him how to throw a curveball. Oh my gosh, more people crying. What is with these guys? Seriously.
It's that kind of
Oh
episode.
my gosh. He's like, and I know if I had been there that night, he wouldn't have had to go to the hospital where they didn't know his condition. And he might still be alive today. So now he's blaming himself, not that he did something wrong, but the fact that he wasn't home and he wasn't there. And she's like, you had to go to the mountain that night. You had no choice. Just like you had no choice with Henry. You did the right thing, Vernon. You always do. He just takes a deep breath. He grabs Hope's hand. And he's like, right and wrong don't seem to matter much these days. Goodness. Well, apparently there's a thunderstorm. So now we are at Bree and Mike's place. They're in bed. He's sound asleep. But she's wide awake and she's staring at him with a very somber look on her face. I think it's more guilty somber. What would you say? Guilty somber?
She's feeling guilty because she just the night before had a little whoop-de-doo with
Yep.
Brady. So who knows?
Now we're back at Brady's place, and he's just pissed that his girlfriend is basically using him. And the song is like, that's playing is like, Storm's gonna have its way. I mean, it's pretty bad. And he's thinking about Lark. And then when he goes to grab his jacket, he finds a tiara on a shelf. Because it's not just Lark. Like, he spent 6 months with her daughter.
Yeah.
And now come to find out Jimmy is this kid's dad? Like, oh my gosh.
You can't hold the kid responsible for the father. That's the
I
thing.
know, but that's just terrible. That he could wind up not wanting to be around that kid because of who her father is. Goodness. He just is like lost in thought. Like, what is he going to do?
It's caught between a rock and a hard place.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the problem.
Even the song lyrics, I want to run like hell. So Mel is sitting at her like little desk in her cute little cabin, and she's writing a note, writing something. And she puts the pen down, and then she looks, and what is that? That is the ring that the engagement ring that her dead husband gave her. Remember, that was the aunt's ring that he gave to her, and his sister Stacy wanted it, and then she tried to get it from her.
I thought she had given it back to Stacy.
No, remember when that episode, she said she wasn't giving it back.
Right, I remember that, but I okay, you're right.
She held on to it. She was not giving it up, and Jack like sat with her by the river's edge in the backyard there.
Yes, I remember that
and
too.
Said, you know what? It's yours. He gave it to you. You don't have to give it to her.
But yeah, I remember that.
You get to decide. And then she confronted Stacy, who got pissed and left.
Right.
And then when Stacy came back, she was pregnant.
Right.
And she had lunch with Mel, and she apologized, and they made amends, and everything was okay. And that's when she told her that the mother, her ex-mother-in-law, was trying to plot against her embryo that's waiting. Exactly. That was in. Yep.
For custody for a kid that wasn't even born yet.
Yeah. So I think,
but not born.
Right. She made amends with Stacy. And now that she's getting married, it's like she's rethinking this ring.
She should.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a family heirloom, so it should be back. Now that she's gone on with her own life, she should return it.
Yeah. So Jack, he's there, and he says Charmaine just texted. She's going to be here soon. That means the babies are there and they're asleep. They got them both down, thank goodness. And he's like, what are you doing? And he's looking at the note. Dear Stacy, I'm finally ready to let this go. And he's like, are you sure? And she shakes her head and she's like, yeah, I am. She goes, you and I are starting a family and this belongs with Mark's. Jack kind of takes a deep breath and he kneels down right next to her and he goes, that makes sense. And she's like, I'm so excited to become a Sheridan.
At least this is a family that she can get along with, unlike the last family.
Right? Yeah, that was a weird family.
But the only person it seems like she had any sort of semi-decent relationship with was her father-in-law. But her mother-in-law and her sister-in-law were a piece of work.
Yeah, and we don't even know because it's not like we saw any interaction with, like, we don't, maybe it was just fine, but who knows? Maybe it's as weird as it was with the mother-in-law.
Okay, you remember when they had that scene where she and he was on the boat?
Yeah.
And she seemed to like his father.
Yeah.
In that conversation.
I think out of all of them, sure. I think he was probably the best, the nicest one.
The one she could the one she could tolerate the most.
Yeah. Which may not have been saying much since all of them were kind of a mess.
That's true.
So.
Anyway.
So Mel's like, how would you feel if I kept Monroe as my middle name? She says to Jack, how would you feel if I kept Monroe as my middle name? Your mom made me realize that even if I couldn't have him in my life forever, that Mark will always have a place in my heart. And I feel like keeping his name is my way of honoring that. Now, for some people, that would be tough. It's like, yeah, but you're getting married. But it's not like there's competition. I mean, he's gone. Exactly. She's moved on. She's clearly not in love with him anymore. She loved him. Like, it's past.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jack smiles. And this is Jack. He's like, I think that's beautiful. Like, of course, he would say that. Like, some people would be like, yeah, no, that doesn't work for me. Right? Like, there's a lot of people that's ego is too big for that.
Yes. Exactly.
And even he, which this is perfect, he goes, I mean, Mel Monroe is the woman I met and fell in love with.
That's true.
And he's like, I think I'd hate to lose that part of you too. It's like, oh, they're so sweet. Kissy kiss. They're so sweet. Like, seriously? And so the storm is coming. He goes, oh, that sounds like it's getting close. It's like, yeah. He goes, all right, I better put up sugar. She goes, okay, I'll stay and watch the twins. He goes, are you sure? She goes, yeah, maybe you can beat the rain. He's like, okay. He's like, I'll be back in a bit. So she's writing this note to Stacy. It says, Dear Stacy, I'm finally ready to let this go. And she says, thank you for being patient. Warmly, Mel Monroe Sheridan.
Yeah, very cute.
Good for her. Yeah. Taking steps. So Jack has sugar and he's taking her into the barn.
It's raining, man.
He's like, come on, here you go. It's like, looks like we got here just in time. That rain is coming down. He goes, I'm going to put you in here. It's going to be all nice and warm. He goes, you want a little treat? I got something for you. Gets a little carrot or something. And look who's got a sweet tooth. And we see a car pull up. Bright lights. Like, what is that? Like somebody in a very big truck with very bright lights. Get out. I mean, you can barely see who it is until they get right up there. And it's Calvin.
Oh, good Lord.
And he's like, Calvin, what the hell are you doing on my property? And he's like, see, that's exactly how I feel about you coming around Charmaine and my boys. Uh-oh. And he's standing in the rain. Like, Calvin is in the, like, full on in the rain. And it is coming down. It is pouring like cats and dogs. And he's like, 'cause of you, she thinks I'm an unfit father. I don't think it's Jack's fault.
I don't think so.
Calvin, I think you've done enough to I think Calvin.
Exactly.
Oh, Calvin.
He's a drug lord.
I think you've done enough to prove that yourself, my friend. Oh my.
He's a drug lord.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and Jack even says, "Oh, I think she figured that out all by herself." And Calvin's like, "Back off, Jack. Nobody's going to keep me from my kids. That includes you, Charmaine, and anyone else that becomes an obstacle." And it's thunder and lightning, and he gets a little bit closer to Jack. And he goes, and as you recall, I am very good at removing obstacles. And Jack takes another step forward. And he's like, is that a threat? And he goes, it's a warning. Stay out of my way. And he turns around with his cane and walks off. Great. That's the last thing they need is dealing with Calvin. And Jack's just standing there in the rain watching him drive away. Ugh, this guy.
That only means trouble.
Now, remember I said that Calvin, the guy who played Calvin before, is
The
not
original.
Yeah, the original. He's on a different show, and I think it was a scheduling conflict. So I actually looked it up to see if he was going to be back because we really liked him. Like he was really good. He was a really good Calvin. Apparently, he will not be back. That he's, I guess, done. And this guy is now the new Calvin, so he's going to be in season 7.
Okay.
So yeah, unfortunately, because really liked him. It's like you get used to somebody, and you know it's hard to see somebody else take the role. You know, because it changes the way the character is perceived. It changes the way the character is.
Right,
You know,
right.
that guy had such like swagger and stuff that this guy just hits differently. So it's not like him or don't like him. It's just different, you know. And I like the other guy. But yeah. So there you go. So now we've got to deal with Calvin and just because Mel and Jack are babysitting, I mean, they're just babysitting. They're not trying to take your kids. But I think he feels like Jack is saying something to Charmaine and like poisoning her thoughts about him or
And she already has full custody, correct?
yeah.
So I think the thing is, he feels that Jack's been putting ideas in her head, and now Jack's babysitting his kids.
Yeah.
So he feels threatened, and that's what's going on. Not realizing you're an idiot, and you're the one who got yourself in this position in the first place.
Exactly. But see,
Yeah.
he doesn't take
He doesn't see that right.
No,
I know.
he doesn't. So
Because when you're a gangster, you think everything belongs to you.
yeah.
So much for that.
Oh well. So I guess we'll just see how things. And we're getting closer to the wedding. We still have a lot going on. There's still a lot of things going on, but we're getting closer to the wedding. So.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you again. Another
Thank
episode.
you, folks.
And we'll be back. We'll be back for more wedding prep and craziness in Virgin River. All
Yes.
right. Till next time. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.